Namaste, everybody. Deanna with Empowering Empaths. As many of you know that you've been subscribers to my channel, I was absent from my sharing last week. It is a time of reflection for me, as it has been 6 years that my child left his body and went back to Source. And we also experienced the physical loss of a 21-year-old pet. And so I think that's where I want to go to first with today's sharing. Pardon the breeze if you hear a breeze. I wanted to be out in nature. I had a lot of things coming through to me as I was out here doing my chores and reflecting today. So thanks for being here. If you're new, my main purpose and intention always on my channel is to share openly, raw, real, and really embracing the dark and the light, both aspects, as we have been having human experiences, right? And always remembering and reminding you that you are a divine child of Creator, always, first and foremost. So I'm coming to you today on the fall equinox, and what is this? For the Northern Hemisphere, it is the first day of fall, and in the Southern Hemisphere, it is the first day of spring. So again, with nature, it's always about balancing the dark and light aspects, as above, so below. And I was reflecting on just that, how nature has its way of balancing itself out. And 2020, as we know, has been intense, to say the least. And what the fall equinox is bringing forth for me is things that we need to let go of. Like the leaves falling from the tree, symbolically of shedding the old ways, shedding old things that no longer serve for our highest good. And on my social media platforms this morning, I always go out on my deck for self-reflection. I start my day out in prayer, setting my intentions. I've found over the past 6 years that it works best for my nervous system to do so. And when we are shedding old ways, perhaps whether it be, old ways of doing things, whether it be letting go of people who, aren't in resonance with us anymore, whether it be cleaning clutter out of our homes, shedding and purging is such a beautiful process, although it can be painful, but it's so symbolic. And I'm thinking to myself as I'm out here today, how precious every moment is, how precious every life is, how precious nature is, and how just like the sun in the southern hemisphere balancing out with the darkness of, those in the southern hemisphere. I hope I said that right, northern, southern. That balance of light and dark. Think about what that is within you, of, looking at things in the perspective of darkness, whether it be grief. For me, that's huge, apparently this lifetime I'm pushing towards my bigger perspective of that, things don't really die, but there's a season for everything. And our beloved pet, who I consider family, that was with us for 21 years, left around the same time that my son left his physical body 6 years ago. And I'm just going, while I'm really in this lifetime with my North Node being in Sagittarius, to see the bigger perspective, to see the spiritual essence of ourselves, and to allow for expansion. And with that comes shedding of the skin. So back to what I started to say about shedding our old skin. This is with the card that I drew today. No coincidence with it being the equinox, right? A time of shedding old ways. This could be for a lot of you having memories come up of perhaps people in the past that you really held sacred in your heart, but it just doesn't work. I know that's coming up for me with a lifetime friend of mine who, no matter how real and raw I got with that person, they would still, out of their own wounds, project onto me or just cut me out of their life. And so for me, I'm feeling a lot of this shedding of the skin of being a mindset too, as well. A time where perhaps this is a time for you to stop speaking lack mentality to yourself. Perhaps this is a time for you to be really consciously aware of what you speak to yourself. And really a time, I feel, going into leaving the dark ages, going into the golden age of not selling ourselves short in any way. Nurturing your inner child so that you can keep rising. And also, like this says, shedding of your skin of old ways and old versions of yourself. And so I think the message clearly today for all of us at this beautiful, sacred time, all life matters. And every day that we have breath here as divine beings is sacred. And every one of you matter. And so it's a great reminder for you to meet yourself right where you're at. I know for the past week or so, I was in such a dark place, right? Figuratively speaking. Dark to me is just the density of whether we're feeling grief or loss or had expectations of things that you thought were supposed to be one way, but really turn out to be a different. And that's what happens when the light shines on anything of the darkness. So, happy solar return to all you beautiful Libras. Libra is so significant. I have a stellium in Libra myself, and that breeze just feels phenomenal, you guys. I'm sorry if it's coming through on the speaker, but it just feels like an energy of lifting your arms, allowing the air to flow through you, allowing spirit to carry messages through to you via air. Air in the tarot is symbolic of the intellect, right? And so I'm in a really huge space of gratitude today, and I do not always feel gratitude because I've definitely experienced some major loss in my life personally. And to you Libras, to anybody, we all have this within us, right? Aries is symbolic of self. Libra is that balancing of the scales. It's the balancing out and wanting to take out to community, right? It's about the outward, the relationships that a lot of us are shedding old relationships that were karmic. And the reason this is happening is we're going into this age of light, the age of golden age of Aquarius, is because we have to release the baggage that bogged us down. We have to stop playing small. And I call it Christ consciousness. It's a remembering of who we truly are, and then holding ourselves up to that light. But not only that, but being in the vibration of calling in more relationships, totally Libra, of more gifting and balance. I think we can see globally what's happening right now as we're going into the age of light, where all this dismantling of 2020 has really pushed us into this inner reflection mode, And sometimes, let's just be real and raw and no nonsense, we have to draw a line in the sand if somebody's acting out of their ego that's out of balance and out of control. Because the ego is not a bad thing. But when you're too much up here and you're not enough in here and you're projecting out onto others, we have to start making other people be held accountable for that and not tolerating it. And if we're doing it out of love And if we're doing it out of awareness, going, I'm a divine child of Creator, God, whatever you so choose to call it, then you can't go wrong by going by that. And the metamorphosis that's happening in 2020 as the light is shining upon all the dark hidden things, political for one. As an empath, I've always known there was corruption there. And for me and my perspective now is we have some catalyst players there that are helping reveal the darkness that's always been there. And anybody that's thinking in the small picture is only seeing and blaming and projecting. It's complete, say, empathetic nature. And I don't want to say versus ego narcissist. But it's more about the Libra energy of balancing these out. And how we do that is to vibrate higher. And how we do that is to get into a feeling of gratitude and the truth in a bigger perspective. So, anytime in humanity that there's been a huge revolution, it always becomes darkest before it becomes light. And so with Mars retrograde in its home sign of Aries, it is super important to keep yourselves in check. I embrace all emotions, and I share on my channel that it's important to do so. So if you have anger come up, deal with it in a healthy way. Observe it. Be the observer of it and go, well, why am I feeling angry? Because anger always is the expression of a hurt, right? And so in my lifetime, personally, I've experienced when I was pinging out an energy of I'm not worthy and I had low self-worth at my core, at my solar plexus, right? In my ego, I might have been thinking that I was balanced and in harmony, but I was actually on a subconscious level pinging out I'm not worthy. And as loving my inner child up, I've had all these things come up to me and blaming a maternal figure that didn't teach me self-love, that was all about a lot of hypocrisy and the mask that many people wear. But I'm not even in the point of blaming anymore. I see it for what it is. And when we do that, and it's a work in progress, right? It's things come up within us. Never judge yourself. Be the observer of it, like I said. And from a heart space, transform it and transmute it and continually shed old skin. I'm a new version of myself, as many of you probably relate, today than I was yesterday. And you can't go wrong with that when it's for the evolution of our soul and our growth. And another thing that I had come up to me about a week ago, but like I said, I took a break for an internal time of grieving and reflecting, was seeing two different timelines. And time is never linear. What do I mean by that? Seeing this energy of light, right? But on the outside, this light just looks like a tube of light. But what I'm seeing, and you see all through nature, is this spiral of what time is, meaning it's not linear. It's this continual evolution. And so this came up to me, like I said, about a week ago, about seeing this timeline split. And it's huge right now because a lot of people in the collective have chosen during this crazy 2020 time to go inner and to self-reflect and to be open to a different perspective. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I do have, like I said, a stellium in Libra, so I've always been able to see different perspectives and put my shoes as an empath, my feet, so to speak, into somebody else's shoes. That was not always welcomed with my form of communication, but in my heart, like I've always been able to see the injustice, the balance, the scales not being in equal playing fields, and now we're seeing that balance out. So during this 2020, some of us, with the whole what we got going on, have had an expansion of seeing, you know what, I'm breaking away from the timeline. I know this has changed and shifted for me just over the past week, because all of a sudden I got really involved in keeping my eye on and being the observer of, say, politics at the beginning of the year, about March. And what I've been witnessing is, just over this past week or so, me breaking away from that old timeline and starting to create the evolution of what I would like to see in the world. And I'm feeling like the huge observer of what I call the shit show that is unfolding. A lot of propaganda, a lot of fear. And if God is for us, who can be against us? And so as we're seeing the energy in Capricorn, the structures, right, the top down that I've been talking about all year, and any astrologer has as well, because it's very significant, we're seeing this breakdown of the dark energy, and it is so obvious to me, like a snake, right, of trying to grab this power of fear, of dominance over top of other people. And so, man, I've literally gained more clear vision even since my spiritual awakening 6 years ago, just in this last year. And I question often, if this hasn't woke people up to the propaganda and the fear and this hierarchy of the old dark energies falling away, of, you know, authority over top of you, I don't know what will. And so ponder upon that. Be open to just hear the perspective from other people. And at the end of the day, it always goes back to your own discernment. And that is where the difference between judgment and discernment in the heart. Judgment is from the ego, thinking we're separate from everybody. Discernment is in your heart going, I love myself as a divine child of Creator God, and I will call in the vibration of relationships that are no longer karmic, but gifting, in balance, like the scales of Libra, right? And so I think I just want to sum it up with that. And I'm so thankful that you guys are here with me. I've been wanting to change the channel of the name of my YouTube channel, but I can't do that. So I'm in a shedding of old skin myself in that manner, many ways actually, of should I start a new one with a new name, because I'm wanting to broaden my messages. It isn't just for sensitive empaths. It is for anybody that chooses to wake up this lifetime. And considering that I've been, and we've all been through a lot of turmoil from the dark ages, I do feel that I am an overcomer and I have a lot to share with others. And Spirit's been telling me from the get-go 6 years ago, when my young son transitioned, that I'm supposed to be helping the indigos and the starseeds and the sensitives, the empaths, and I'm specifically supposed to be helping children. But what came into my awareness this week is I'm not only supposed to be helping children, I'm supposed to be helping you love up your inner child. Because when we give ourselves the things that we needed that we may not have received as a child, it puts us into this vibration of more of a knowingness of who we are. And it's a beautiful thing. Like I said, shedding old ways and transformation, and then physical loss of any type is very difficult. But what I do know is Yeshua himself, my son in spirit, and my guides have been with me this whole while. And saying goodbye to a lot of people just created this energy with me because of my willingness to go inner, to know that in spirit we're never alone. So I'm going to do another message from our animal oracle to go along with shedding our skin this week. I always call upon the divine white light, Yeshua, my son in spirit, God, creator, source, the four elements of earth, fire, air, water, air. Oops. Whoa, pop out. The scarab beetle. Magic works through you. And this is so true. When we have this remembrance that we are divine children of Creator itself, of the universe, when we have that magical awe within us, we nurture our inner child, we shed old ways, and we start getting into the vibration of being childlike, having an awe about life itself, like I have been out here outside today. Just everything, listening to the birds. The beautiful sun is out shining today after some many cool days here in my home state of Michigan. The purification that's happening with the fires. And so pause, and anybody that's going through turmoil, which I feel that we're all been in 2020, you know, anxious. And if you've bought into fear temporarily, it's okay, don't judge yourself. Time to release that and remember your divinity. Your health is not in the power of a government. Your health is not somebody else's job to dictate over. Take your energy back. Take your power back. Raise your vibration, and how you do that is to drop the fear. Fear and anxiety and the lack mentality lowers your God-given immune system. And so be in that magic wonder. And I feel like, to me, this is telling you to start understanding that you're divine and that you are the co-creator of your reality. And I feel that's where the timelines were coming up for me. I witnessed and I've been observing the whole political fuckery. But now that I see a clear vision, which is wonderful because I've actually changed my perspective and it opened me up to a new perspective. Magic really does. And I'm feeling more and more that it doesn't matter what's going on of this world, has no power over me. And I think that's where Yeshua talks about be in the world but not of it. Watch your words. So this is a, oh, look at that. I don't think I've ever drawn that. Parrot spirit. Watch your words. So what I was saying at the beginning of the video about what you're speaking to yourself. 5 plus 4 is a 9. So that is an ending of speaking to yourself with the lack mentality. With the beautiful colors of the parrots, it's almost very symbolic of balancing, paying attention to your energy field, calling the divine white light down through your whole chakra system, and really being the observer, because Mercury is represented by the trickster in Tarot, okay? So our ego minds, our monkey minds, are where fear comes in, where lack comes in. And when we're in our hearts and we're knowing that we're a true divine child of God, like I said earlier, if God is for you, who can be against you? Pay attention to your thoughts, because Mercury, if not already, I don't have the chart printed, is going into Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto. So you can have a lot of deep subconscious programming of the past coming up. Whether it be, you're not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not valuable. Flip the script, change your mindset, pay attention to your energy body and your emotional body. And like I said, call divine white light, God, present, great spirit, whatever you call it, to balance your chakra. Listen to your body. Root chakra things are of fear. Heart chakra, represented by green and pink, is love. And that is the one only truth, that love is the highest vibration. So that is Creator, God's energy itself. And just a reminder as well that feeling this beautiful breeze flow through me today, Spirit is with us always. You can get out into nature, be very aware and conscious of the breath. Take deep breaths into your solar plexus. Release old things that no longer serve you, whether it be, you know what, this is done, I'm no longer in resonance with this, I'm saying goodbye to this, whether this be a habit that doesn't raise your vibration, whether this be cleaning clutter out of your home to feel more abundant for new things. So blessed fall equinox, equal dark and light. Balance that within you. Take it out to the world. Enjoy your celebration. Like I said, happy solar return to all you beautiful Libras. It's about balance. Taking the best version of yourself out, which is healing the Aries, which is healing the Chiron energy, both in Aries right now, Mars, of self. That way you can take your best version of yourself out for others with the Libra energy. Thanks so much for being here with me today, you guys. Have a blessed, blessed day. You matter. All life matters. Nature matters. Animal matters. Honor thyself and honor all things. Namaste.